Hey there, investors. Today we have another video, and we'll be looking at Apple. Remember, these videos are for entertainment purposes. Please contact your financial advisor for any actual financial advice on taking positions. So, going off of what happened today, kind of late into the market close, it was announced that there was reports that Apple was apparently working on producing an electric vehicle, aiming for 2024. Now there had been some rumors kind of here and there, all throughout. I think in the past there were even rumors that Apple was looking to acquire Tesla, kind of way back when. And don't quote me on any specific year, but a recent kind of editorial piece came out that announced that Apple is looking to release its own self-driving vehicle somewhat slated for 2024. Now, based on this news, this gave enough momentum for the stock to break above its resistance of 125, 120, yeah, roughly around there. And so now the stock is kind of climbing right above that trend, ended up closing around after hours 130.62. So decided to look at the unusual options activity to see if there's anything going on here. And when we look at the most active stock options in the list, you usually find that Apple is typically on this list no matter what. But this time in particular, we're seeing that there's a positive trend for Apple moving forward, just because it's also been kind of lagging in that one 125-ish to 120s, but not exactly breaking the 130, which had been reached before, I believe. I don't think you can see it on this chart, but yeah, 134. So we're seeing that it's getting the momentum it needs, and this news might give the stock the momentum it needs to get to above 130 price ranges. So looking at the most active options, obviously see that there's a huge percentage of calls there, so 78%. So looking into that further, we see that on the December 31st range, there's approximately, filtering on this unusual option activity indicator, the trend seems to be really positive, with a lot of contracts still open for the 130 strike price expiring on December 31st. So you see here anything above 1 is usually a good indicator of unusual options activity. So if we look into these options further, we can calculate roughly what is the current position that this person has. So buying the call contracts expiring December 31st, and we see that there's still an open interest of roughly 33,000 contracts. So they're, essentially betting that the stock will get to the 130 strike price, or I guess 132 to break even, plus the 130 plus the 209 price of the call option contracts. But we're seeing here that this 33,000 is a position of a whopping 6.9 million. So that's a pretty good indicator of unusual option activity. So let's now kind of break down into, if you wanted to get into this position, what kind of entry points and exit points would you want to consider in getting into this position? How high can the stock actually go? And to answer that, we're going to want to look at our cheat sheet here. And by the way, you guys, I'll try to post the links that I use for these videos in the description. So so you guys can also find them there and kind of look at and do your own research on. But to look at somewhat entry points, the stock ended up closing, let's see, around 130.62 after hours, right? So that's sort of well above this resistance point of 129.8. So I think if you wanted to get into this position, you definitely want to see that, try to buy into the position anywhere above 129.88. I would recommend anywhere around 130, just because that's a good indicator that, the momentum is in the direction that we want to go, which is bullish on the upside. And then as far as when you could take profits, I definitely want to go into the second level of resistance, which is 131.52. So you could consider taking profits or rolling your contracts to a longer expiration date at this strike price, roughly around the stock trading 131.52. And then from there, I think these other indicators and levels are actually pretty good places where you can consider closing or trimming or rolling your option contracts. So you can close them, you can cash out either at these levels, or you can trim. If you're buying two, you could sell one, and then you could sell one here. Maybe if you think the stock's going to go higher, you can sell the other one to the next level. And then as far as getting to where we would set our stop loss, I think that would definitely be roughly around stock trading back to its one month high. So a pretty good indicator that it probably doesn't have enough momentum to break its levels of resistance here. So if it can maintain above 129, it's definitely good probability that it'll break this next level of resistance, and there's pretty good bullishness out there in the market. And we can see that entry point is well above our moving day averages, so that's a good indicator. It's indication that the momentum is in favor of our direction. So also wanted to point out that in addition to this unusual option activity, there's also a stock alert app that I'm currently subscribed to that sends out stock alerts for certain buy and sell indications on stocks. So one of the alerts that I got was actually on Apple. So you can see here that the stock was recommending, which was signal was sent out September 3rd to buy below this 123, which is right above that 50-day trend, and then to sell at 135. So there's good potential that this price target might actually be achieved of 135. So looking back to our signals here, the 135 was probably closer to the 52-week high. So there's good potential that it could try to reach this high, maybe even break that high. So I think there's a strong momentum there, definitely. So I think Apple would be a good position here to take. And like I said, I mean, there's always a lot of liquidity and movement with Apple, which means that there's always a lot of investors out there that you can sell contracts to, and there's a lot of interchangement of hands because of its big size and volume. So I think Apple is a good position here, you guys. Now, let me know what you think in the comments below if you're thinking of getting into any positions in Apple, or if you're already in some positions in Apple, or maybe you've bought some leaps, some long-term contracts, and they're probably growing right now because the momentum's really strong. So anyways, just wanted to share this with you guys. Thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.